Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of the Doctor Who 2006 Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. Okay, so The Runaway Bride, the second Doctor Who Christmas special, released in 2006. Okay, this story follows directly from the events of Doomsday at the end of Series 2, where a bride called Donna Noble has turned up in the Doctor's TARDIS for some reason, and throughout the episodes, the Doctor has to find out how and why. But Donna is not exactly impressed, as you wouldn't, and she just wants to get married to her fiance, Lance, and she just wants to get back to him, but other forces are working against them to kidnap Donna and use her for their own purposes. And we get the return of the robot Santas, or Roboforms. This time, they're not scavengers, they've been hired, they've been controlled by our new villain of the story, played brilliantly by Sarah Parish. Parish? Yeah, I think so. The evil queen in Atlantis. So, with all that being said, The Runaway Bride. How is this? Well, I think this is the closest Doctor Who's going to get to a pantomime, or at least for a Doctor Who Christmas special is going to get the closest to being a pantomime. The Runaway Bride is a bit. I like how the Russell T Davies has a different genre for each of his Christmas specials. Besides the usual Doctor Who genres, because this one's a bit more of a comedy in places. There's a lot more comedic moments, and there's a lot more fun and enjoyable moments. Christmas Invasion was a bit of a drama, I suppose. Voyage of the Damned was a thriller drama, and the Next Doctor is a historical with Cybermen, and probably the end of time in probably a drama as well, but definitely a very sci-fi one. So a dramatic adventure. But this one's definitely a more comedy story. This one's it's very fun. It's supposed to be played for laughs. I also like in this story how we see the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, getting darker and more serious. I mean, he had started this earlier on in Series 2 before starting to go a bit more fun and enjoyable, probably due to his relationship with Rose Tyler, which I've heard to be described as happy-go-lucky. But now that Rose Tyler's gone, and it's really much just happened for him, basically, he's not in the best of moods. He's not very happy. He's down, he's upset about it, and now he's been thrusted with Donna Noble in an adventure that he doesn't know what's going on, and he has to find out what's going on. And he's not exactly in the best of moods at the moment. Not to mention when he finds out who the villain is, he knows he's up against dangerous odds, and when it comes to dealing with those villains, there is very little mercy from this Doctor. No second chances, after all, with him. And you can see David Tennant getting extremely serious in many scenes. Despite this being a more fun episode, David Tennant gives one of the most serious performances so far. He's just really, really great in this story, and I'm really enjoying him in this story. He's absolutely fantastic. Catherine Tate also does a good job with the material of Donna Noble she gets, because Donna Noble is a one-dimensional character in this story, a bit like Ace in Dragonfire. However, when we come to their next story, in Donna's case, Partners in Crime in Series 4, and Ace's case, Remembrance of the Daleks, both of them start to become 3D characters and begin a character arc that will just take them to becoming the best companions of one of the best companions of the show. And so Donna Noble at this point is she's just a 1D character for this story, but when she comes back, she's going to become one of the best characters of the show. And when I first heard that news, I was thought, okay, and heard it because I hadn't been a big fan of her in The Runaway Bride, and when I heard she'd come back for Series 4, I was like, all right, okay. It's a bit like with the reaction to Nardole being a companion in Return of Doctor Mysterio in Series 10. Following I was about to say the Haunted Villa Diary, that's Series 12, after the Husbands of River Song. That was, it sounded like, what? But once we actually saw Nardole, and actually, well, okay, maybe not so much in Return of Doctor Mysterio, but in Series 10, especially around Episode 5 onwards, yes, we loved him, and we absolutely adored him in Series 10. So next time they have a reoccurring character who we weren't so keen on the first time, come back as a companion, maybe we should be a little less judgmental next time, because otherwise we could get the next Donna or the next Nardole. But Donna is a bit of a 1D character in this story, But she's still pretty good and fun, enjoyable in places. I mean, she does shout a lot, but I guess that is part of the character in a way. But she's still pretty good and enjoyable. It's just that there isn't that much character development yet. We'll get to 3D Donna when we get to Series 4. Promise. What's the promise? I don't know how do you do promises with your hand? Just promise. Lance is also a pretty good character as well. He helps out a few times, and it turns out he's been putting human particles into Donna's coffee to fill her with liquid particles so that the villain, who I'm about to get to, can use her. And the Doctor discovers that Donna had gotten liquid human particles into her body, and then we find out that Lance was the one who put them in. And the only reason he agreed to marry her was so that she wouldn't run off, because he needed her. And now our villain is the Empress of the Rachnos. Now, before we talk about her a bit more, I think they ruined her a little bit in some of the trailers for the story, which is a shame because it would have been a great reveal. This red big spider lady, the Empress of the Rachnos, which is an old enemy of the Time Lords. The Rachnoses are creatures from the dawn of time. They use human particles. They feed on human particles and people. Anyway, the Empress of the Rachnos wants human particles placed into a person, and then after doing some jiggery pokery in that person, and then it gets fed to her children, followed by then having eating that original host, which is Donna. Well, they don't get to eat Donna, obviously, but they do get to eat Lance, because when Donna escapes with the Doctor, they then fill up Lance with all these human particles, then they get him strung up. They capture Donna and string her up, and then they have the human particles leave them, and then Lance gets eaten. Basically, he falls into the pit and gets eaten, but the Doctor saves Donna before she meets the same fate. But the Empress Rachnos is a really great villain. I don't really like some of the close-up shots when we do get introduced to her, when she appears, and then some close-up edited shots thrown in of the face. It is a bit dodgy. It's the same thing with the Skiffer Queen in Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. It's just when we introduce to them, they just have to have several close-up shots edited in very quick succession of each other. It's awkward and doesn't work. And speaking of bad editing, The Runaway Bride is the earliest bad edited new series story. This story's got, well, at least in terms of camera pans and transitions, because you've got these fast twists, and what is it? You've got a character, you might have a character there, and then you turn over to some characters over here, and it does this kind of fast, I don't even know what's called, it just doesn't work. It's not the camera moving, it's just the funny effect. It's just, I don't like it. It's used a lot in this story. I don't like it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, that's probably my biggest problem with this story. The editing is sometimes shit. Sometimes, or at least the transitions are shit. The normal editing is fine. Transitions can be a bit shit in places. Okay, to wrap up the story, eventually they're able to defeat the Rachnos by the Doctor drowning her children, and the army being ordered to fire at the web star where the Rachnos escapes to, but being defenseless now, as she's lost all of her human particles. She's able to be taken out by the army on the orders of a certain Mr. Saxon. Oh, I'm sure he's going to be a great friend and ally of the Doctor's later on in the series. Stay tuned to find out whether I'm telling the truth or not. Eventually, the Doctor returns Donna home, and they have their farewell scene. The Doctor running off so he doesn't have to have Christmas dinner with her family, and makes it snow a little bit for her, and even has this great bit where the TARDIS zooms into the sky. That's pretty cool. The TARDIS gets to fly about a little bit more in this story with the on the motorway bit. That was a great scene. That's probably my favourite bit, despite some dodgy transition effects in places. But it looked really cool, and it was really enjoyable. Probably the best scene of the story. And yeah, this one's just a very good story. I really enjoyed it and really liked it. Had some good moments. There's not some bits I'm not so keen on, but on the whole, The Runaway Bride is a fun, enjoyable, and entertaining story. It's not gonna set the world on fire, but I think it's a great episode. Not perfect, but great. I will be giving The Runaway Bride a 8 out of 10. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was enjoyable, very entertaining, and had some good characters in it. Yeah, Donna Noble's a bit of a 1D character, but don't worry, she will be getting 3D development come Partners in Crime. Promise. And some good supporting characters and villains. It's pretty cool. Also, this will be the only time we see Donna Noble's father in the show, due to him passing away after recording scenes for Partners in Crime. I might try and make that review dedicated to that actor, just like the deleted scenes were. And also we get Jacqueline King as Sylvia Noble for the first time in the series. Woo! Again, she's going to have a bit more stuff to do in series 4. Also, Nerys makes her first appearance here. Nerys is a bit of a running joke in some Donna Noble stories. Not so much when she's a main companion, but so as a guest companion, Nerys can be a bit of a running joke. But yeah, that's The Runaway Bride. That was great. A very fun Christmas special, and probably the closest Doctor Who's going to get to a pantomime. This or Dalek's Master Plan, Episode 7, The Feast of Stephen. But I think this one's a more fun one. So that's it from my review of The Runaway Bride, and stay tuned, folks, because we are starting Doctor Who Series 3 next time with Smith and Jones. And if the coming soon trailer is anything to go by, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Don't think I could say the same for all the coming soon trailers, perhaps. I was getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps now, but I was getting goosebumps by the end of the trailer. It was coming towards the end, with Professor Lazarus declaring he is 76 years old. Although they cut out the "I am and now I'm reborn" bit, but it's that bit in the trailer, and then final couple shots with the Doctor and Martha, but the best shot of the trailer comes at the very end with Dalek Sec. I cannot describe how excited 7-year-old me was when he first saw that bit. I mean, Daleks are back. I mean, yeah, now I think the Daleks should have come a little bit later into the series. It is a bit early for their appearance. But even now, I got goosebumps seeing Dalek Sec at the end of that trailer, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back in action in Daleks in Manhattan. Oh boy, but before we get to Daleks in Manhattan, we still got a few other episodes to go, and starting with Smith and Jones, which introduces us to Big Chief Rhino Boyster Jadoon and new companion Martha Jones. Things are about to get exciting. I'll see you guys next time for Smith and Jones. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who 2006 Christmas Special, The Runaway Bride. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of the 2006 Christmas... I think this story is the first... I mean, he's really great. Hey, if I won't be... We'll get to that. We'll get to characterized. And we get our villain, which is... Now, before we get started, I think the Empress of the Arachnos wants human particles from a... I don't exactly know why they needed to have... I don't exactly know why they needed human particles to be in a... Oh, hang on. They need human particles from a person. The story... Okay, and Mr. Saxon, I'm sure he's going to be a very nice... Stay tuned to find out whether I'm being sarcastic. Stay tuned to find out whether I'm being... Stay tuned to... And eventually the Doctor and Donna return to her home, and she goes back to her... Eventually, the Doctor and Donna return Donna home. Neris is a bit of a running joke now and again in the Donna era of the. That's it from the Runaway. Why? The best shot of the trailer comes at the very end with Dalek. I cannot describe how 7-year-old me how excited he would, and new companion